Thank you. Everyone, good evening. So, my name is Gunnlaugur Erlendsson. You'll hear a bit more about that in the video I'm going to show you. We are really, really proud to be here today, and we're all exceptionally proud as well to be nominated this year for Prince William's Earthshot Prize. Our video just dropped, so I've decided just to play you a short clip about the problem we're solving, and then I'll tell you how we're going to make that happen.
Imagine every tire on every car, on every road on our planet, all of them creating air pollution. And it's completely unregulated. There's no law against any of this. I'm Gunnlaugur Erlendsson. I'm the CEO of Enso. Everyone calls me G because my name is unpronounceable. So I came into this industry by accident, and I then discovered how impactful tires are on our planet, particularly when it comes to air pollution. I can talk for 10 hours about tires. The tire industry is enormous. Every year we make 2 billion tires on this planet. And those tires generate 6 million tons of tire dust. Every time a tire brakes, accelerates, or turns, it wears down, generating thousands of microscopic tire particles that we breathe. We're actually breathing more tire dust than tailpipe pollution at this stage. This microscopic dust that we're breathing in is really harmful. Tires are made out of toxic raw materials and fossil fuels that we are effectively inhaling every moment. And by doing so, we don't know what is happening to our ecosystem, to our biosphere, and to ourselves. Tire pollution has been found on the North Pole and in our deepest oceans. It's found everywhere. And ultimately, this is the problem, because we can't even see it as it's happening. So if we want to clean our air, we have to think about tires.
So tires pollute the air we breathe, they fill our oceans with microplastics, and these particles are inherently toxic. And the problem we also have to face is that electric vehicles generate actually more of these particles because they're heavy and they have high torque. And so we at Enso decided, how do we solve this problem? The industry is now admitting that there is a problem, and the key thing for us is to develop solutions that scale. So we do 3 things. We make better tires for electric vehicles that are able to extend the range of electric cars up to 10%, while at the same time reducing tire pollution up to 35%. But we don't just change the product, we change the business model that actually incentivizes the harmfulness. We sell our products directly to customers. That means that our tires are also cheaper, up to 20% cheaper than our competitors, and we can also, when we equip them on large fleets, sell them per mile. And that changes the ecosystem, because once I sell something per mile, I'm even more incentivized to reduce the pollution, because every mile is an extra penny. But ultimately, we need to change the foundation of this industry and drive it to a sustainable path. We're the only B Corp in the tire industry, and we are basically born and bred from within the tire industry, because we basically all grew up there. The direct model is key here. When I make a better tire and sell it directly to a customer, they save money. That drives uptake. But key thing here is I get data. Data. I can direct that data back to where the tire came from and make even a better tire, and tune these tires continuously to further improve their efficiency, durability, and every other metric. We're already selling these tires in London, and this is just an example of the tire we developed for the London electric taxi. We're 2 levels better in efficiency, and we're 2 levels above in safety. So not only is it cheaper, it's safer and will get you further while you drive on your electric battery. And here are some statistics as well. This is one of our latest products that we just launched. It showcases you that two of the tires here, how better they are in efficiency. And you can convert that percentage into cost savings, range, and even carbon savings, because we still generate electricity from carbon sources. And ultimately, of course, we're already equipping taxis, customers, individual customers as well who own cabs, and then electric vans. We're already on the Royal Mail, DPD, and most recently on Hive. And what we want to really talk about is the fact that technology optimism can actually drive a big change in an industry that actually is made from fossil fuels with one of the highest pollution levels that are completely unregulated today in the world. And so this is why we set up Enso. We're of course raising funds like every other company on the planet that is in this game. But ultimately, what we say to ourselves is that tires can be a lot better. They can also be more affordable. And by doing one fundamental thing, cutting out the middleman, we build a circular ecosystem where we can take these tires back at the end of life, recycle them back into better tires continuously. And this is why Enso actually means circle. We're built on the foundations of the circular economy, and we're hopeful, of course, that you're all along for the ride. So if there's anyone here who wants to support us in any way possible, please do so, and definitely support us next 7th of November. We'll hopefully be able to make you proud.
Thank you, fantastic presentation. I can certainly see a huge amount of disruption in a lot of different places. In terms of sort of the fastest growth for you, is it the fleet side, global expansion, or even sort of retrofitting fuel vehicles?
So we focus on electric vehicle fleets, and we're already working with two of the largest fleets, which is Royal Mail and DPD. That's number 1 and 2 in the UK. We're also equipping, of course, onto the largest fleets of taxis in London. The key thing for us to focus on is electrification, because we want electric vehicles to be successful, but they still ride on 4 tires that wear down. And that is not going to change. We will not make a tire last forever, but we can make them a lot better. So we focus on electric vehicles because we can make a substantial increase in their operational capability while doing a massive decrease in terms of how quickly those tires wear that pollute our air and fill, of course, our oceans with microplastics. So the critical thing is about that. But working with the fleets is interesting because they're keen to see these innovations. They're keen to save the money, but actually they're really keen to see this solution as well.
And G, what are the reasons that, I guess, the traditional players in this sector, why are they not taking this approach?
The tire industry makes 2 billion tires a year, and their growth is to sell more tires. So it's a churn. It's a bit like the old light bulb industry. So ultimately, they design products that they know they'll have to replace often, and most of the profitability is not to sell to cars when they're new, it's to sell on replacement when they come up for repair. So the tire industry is, on one hand, incentivized to make that happen, but there are really 2 parts to the industry. There's 5 companies on the planet that produce half the tires, and then there's about 1 million others who sell them. And these are not the same groups, but they both have the same incentive. So ultimately, to some extent, we're going up against the Michelins, the Bridgestones, the Continentals, but we're really going up against the individual fitters and the cheaper tires that are on the market that actually are the highest polluting products. And at the same time, of course, we're working with regulators, scientists, and others to talk about the problem, because nobody talks about tires. And until we talk about it and embrace this problem as something that needs to be solved, then, of course, it won't be regulated and it won't be addressed. So simply the awareness bit is key here.
Thank you. So you said you're raising. How much are you raising, and what will that enable you to do?
So we have historically raised about £6 million to develop our first generation products. We have announced on Bloomberg that we are now doing our Series A for 20 million. That will basically scale, of course, our UK operations, our team, and our product portfolio, and then we will also be going to the United States. So we already have some great backers that are supporting our journey into America, California in particular. Half of all EVs in America reside in California, mostly in 2 places, Los Angeles and San Francisco, and they're going through the same problem like we have in London. Because we have a high concentration of EVs in London, customers there are also seeing that they're replacing their tires more often. So ultimately, we focused on those EV hotspots, and that's the funding. Ultimately, of course, we want to build a carbon-neutral tire factory that can actually supply the market throughout. But we really want to change the industry. And we know we're not going to make every tire on the planet, for sure. But if we can show that a vertically integrated tire company can sit alongside a vertically integrated electric vehicle market, just like Tesla has shown the way, we can actually make that change and let the rest of them hopefully follow us in the wake at some stage.
You're clearly very passionate about tyres.
I can talk for hours about them, I'm sorry.
How did that even come about?
Say again?
How did you get into it?
I was completely by accident. To cut a long story short, I worked with a lot of talented people from the tire industry that were looking to do new things. So ultimately that transpired into Enso after several years. And ultimately the key thing was three things. Why we started Enso was really, on one hand, we saw electrification was happening and electric vehicles were coming into the market and they weren't going away. Second, we had Dieselgate. Dieselgate also showed us that pollution from tailpipes was something completely different from what we were told. But it also made that scientists started to finally research tire pollution. This was known within the industry, but nobody talked about it in public. And I think, of course, the third is that we had access to all the technology to make this happen. The key thing has been to convince others that it is possible, but we've now proven it. So hopefully you'll be riding on our tires very soon. Thank you so much, everyone.